What's up, friends? Another filthy video sponsored by Hayabusa Fightwear, and you can go check their website at hayabusafight.com. They're the best training equipment in the fight game, period. If you don't believe me, try it and you'll know what I'm talking about. Best quality. And we're going to go over some technique today. So what we're going to do is a tricky little submission set up from butterfly guard to a side triangle, which is commonly referred as a Yoko Sankaku. Okay, it's one of my favorites, but I got long legs, so it's kind of easier to do triangles. But maybe you've never seen this setup before. Okay, so first thing we want to do to set this up is we're gonna, from the guard, butterfly guard, we really want to get an underhook. Okay, and sometimes people have problems with getting the upper tie-ups. So the simple way we can do it on our knees here is when you're in butterfly guard or wherever you want to do it, even standing, is grabbing the wrist with your fingers on the inside of the forearm, okay? And what I'm going to do is club the head and then creating that little pocket between the elbow and the hip. And as I pull his head back, pummeling through and catching that tricep for the short hook. Okay, so you can lock your hands if you like doing that, and there's even that shoulder crunch position and being tight. Okay, but you don't need to lock that necessarily. You can do it one of whatever which way you want. Okay, so it's just simple: club, pummel, and then you have a grip, and you lock, or switch to the frame and to that shoulder crunch. And it's up to you what you want to do. Okay, now the thing about setting this up is you want to make him post on the mat. Okay, I have this way of thinking that when you grapple, to way to organize your offense, instead of trying to attack a guy when he's in a good defensive posture and a good defensive position, attack the structure of him, making him basically having to rely on all his parts to stay from falling to the stomach or to the side. So basically off balancing, stretching him out, to attack that so his defense is nil, and now you can go straight to offense, okay? So sometimes it's worth doing that little extra step to break him down. And for this, we're gonna wanna do that, because to make it high percentage, we need to have the hand on the opposite side of the underhook posting on the mat. Ideally on the elbow, but as long as that hand's on the mat, it allows us to rotate and attack, okay? So get in that butterfly position here. I'll show you different angles as well. Okay, get your normal butterfly position. You're gonna get that wrist. Now, I usually will scoot in and club and pummel in, okay? So I'm gonna club, pull, get that hook. Now you can see his arm's not posting yet. So what I'm gonna do from here is do a little stretch, a pull and stretch. And like I said, it's up to you what grips you wanna use. Sometimes I like just keeping it short and relying on my wrists. Okay, so from here I'm gonna load the weight onto me and then stretch him out to make him post. So load, stretch. Okay, now you can see I've created this nice big pocket. His other hand is on the mat holding himself up, and now he's not in a good position. And I'm gonna make a little foot change here. Okay, my right hook here is gonna go to the outside of his thigh. All right, basically just pause for a second. My foot's gonna go here. So on top to the hip, okay? And I'm just gonna give a little pinch for control. And then I'm gonna limp over the head. Okay, so let's get back to that stretch position. So from here, what I'm gonna do is do that foot change, okay? And I'm gonna create some lifting power on the underhook to make sure that he can't take his hand off the mat. Sometimes if you're pulling too much, you'll be able to lift that off, and we don't want that, so you get a little leverage, okay? And like I said, you can have the crunch. That's a very effective grip as well, okay? But it doesn't matter to you. I use both. Okay. Now from here, keeping that pressure on that post, I'm going to limp my leg out and go around his head. Okay. And there's a couple ways to do this. You can just cut through, okay? If the guy's being really crazy, you can pull your knee to this side of the face and then limp over the top, okay? It just depends on whether or not he's going to be able to block that leg. You just don't want him to grab that leg and block it, okay? So either limp out and go over the head, or limp through and get the shin of your knee on the near side of the neck, and that will, you know, creates a little more stretching, okay? And they both work, it's just up to you, okay? So we'll get back to that position, get that, stretch, switch, keep that pressure, and now I'll guide his head. Unless you're locked, just keep that cranking power. But what I'll do is I'll roll my wrist, my forearm over the head and push the head down, because I don't want him head coming up. And then from here, go over, and I'm gonna pinch my knee on the back of his neck as I curl this leg under his armpit. Now from here, gonna figure four and lock. Now if you need to make an adjustment here, let's rotate a second. Okay, if you need to make an adjustment, you can always grab and pull that in to lock. Flex your ankles and make your lock stronger. And now from here, if you have a good bite of your hamstring on the neck, you can simply just tight waist the body here, deep waist, and flex and drive. And that can create the choke. All right, and then I'm going to show you some options as well, because sometimes I get it, you don't have the best lock. Maybe he tucked his chin, you're not getting that hamstring pressure, you know, things go crazy, okay? So we're gonna focus on doing this side. So from here, club, get that, load, stretch, lift, switch, cover. Now I'll go in front this time, creating that, and then pinch over the top. Pinch, curl, lock, flex your feet. And you want to come up, because if you stay on your back and his hips get over you, he's going to step over your head, and we don't want that. So coming here kind of negates a lot of that. And like I said, easiest option first, plant your foot and drive your hips towards your own heel to create more pressure. And don't forget to flex your hamstring and your legs. You should never do a choke in a relaxed state. You should always flex your muscles. So I'm gonna lift and drive forward and squeeze. So that way I'm getting a little bit of gravity, hips off the ground, and I'm jamming forward as much as I'm curling. All right, and that gives you a little extra pressure. Now, you got a lot of options here should that not be in a good position, okay? We can attack the spine. You always have other options as far as attacking the arm bar, Kimura on the other side. We can go all day off of this setup. I'm just going to show you a few. One is rolling him. You might want to roll him so you can get him on his back so you can make better adjustments for sticking with the choke. Okay? It's not going to be a lot of motion. Just go this way. Let's go straight into it. Okay? From here, lock. I'm going up, blocking, and I'm going to pull him tight to me. And I'm going to roll, and then I'm going to limp this arm out. So I'm going to roll, limp this arm out. Let's move a little bit. Just come this way, bud. Is that good? So you land in a traditional side triangle, Yoko Sankaku. Okay, now from here, I like to stay under this arm to keep his elbow elevated. And here you can make your adjustments, whether or not you have to rotate down and slide your bottom leg deeper, or simply pull the arm and figure four and lock. And from here you can pull the tricep and pull the wrist, flex that hamstring, squeeze your legs together, and you'll get the tap. But one other option here is the downward arm crank. So if you're not very good at locking the choke, say you have a bad lock, or maybe you just like doing this, you're going to pin this wrist to your thigh and push as you curl. And I like to do both. I like to squeeze the choke and push. That way at least I'll get one of them if something's messed up. And then now you got a good strangle and a finish. Okay? But the big thing, when you roll, You don't want him laying on your arm. If he lays on your arm, you're going to be put in a bad scramble position. So as you roll him over, limp your arm out and try to catch under the elbow. All right, I'll just demonstrate that one more time. Let's see. Yeah, this will be fine. So let's go in that. Okay, here. So I'm here, come up, I'm going to block the shin, roll. Now see I lick this arm out and bring him to the side. Now see I look at all that space. I screwed up. All right, that happens all the time. I'm plenty deep with my bottom leg, so I'm just going to make that adjustment, squeeze my thighs, and finish. Okay, so that's just one option. Most of the time you can finish when he's in that turtle position. If you do it the way I showed you by jamming forward, like moving your hips rather than just squeezing. You're going to see options for, like I said, armbar, kimura, toe holds, things like that. But when in doubt, if you don't know what to do, get on top. Okay? And you can keep your lock and cover his back. Because when in doubt, things go wrong. You want to be on top where the scramble ends. That way you get the advantage of leverage, okay? So we'll do that situation now. So butterfly, sling, hook, okay? I'll do shoulder crunch this time, okay? A little load, lift, hook, pull, guide, come up. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get on my hand and I'm gonna drive, and not only am I driving up, I'm pulling my bottom leg backwards. And this is going to start getting to some neck cranky, and it's a lot of pressure, okay? So from here, staying tight, into my hand, drag my knee backwards. Now if I grab this wrist, I can just jam them, and that is very uncomfortable. Simple finish, at least I'm on top, right? But another option is I want to tack, you okay, bud?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. I want to tack the leg on the same side of his arm, okay? I don't want to go opposite because he'll rotate his hips. I want to go on the same side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the ankle with two hands. And I'm going to tilt him off back to the side I was on. So I'm going to be laying on this side. So from here, I grab that foot. And now I'm going to pull and rotate my hips off to the side. And start to stretch that. Get to that knee. You can lock your hands or just simply hug it. And now drive your hips forward as you pull and get that spine lock. Okay? Now learn this at highest stand. But you know, I want to hat tip somebody because I saw him do it a long time ago as well. And that was Rob Drysdale. I'm pretty sure he did this technique as well. And that was rare back then. Usually spine locks were the typical kind of catch wrestler techniques, not so much the BJJ community. But if I remember correctly, Rob was doing that as well, which so hat tip to him, but I learned it from Go-Court. Okay. All right, so depending on what you want to accomplish here, you always be ready, prepared to work with things in succession. Okay, what I call secondaries. If this fails, where am I going to go? If this fails, where am I going to go? Am I going to scramble? Am I going to try to chain to another attack? Am I going to do a reversal? What am I going to go to? So if I had to give you some suggestions here, I would lock the Sankaku up, try to finish in that turtle position. Now, if you were very concerned about getting stuck on the bottom, I would roll them. If you weren't too concerned, I would come up and then attack the spine lock. And the reason why that's nice about the spine lock is you don't have to have the choke good. It's not a choke anymore. And it's a big target. It's a big target. Okay? And I've never seen anyone tough it out unless there's some guy with some crazy bending skills. Okay? No, I'm not that guy. Okay? So put it together. Okay? Get that wrist, grab, club, yank that head. I like to grab the ear, kind of give me some grip. Pummel through, stretch, load, up, switch, cover, suck them in, come up, now drive. And when they don't come out, there's the foot. Drag it back. And hips. Nice little flow. And it actually works very well, surprisingly. It looks a little strange, but I could do a whole instructional just based off of this in one sequence, so maybe I will one day. All right, thanks for the help, guys, and I'll see you next time on Hayabusa Fight Wear video.